By the time I walked out, there was a gentleman who had downed 2 airplane bottles, before noon. I'm like, okay, well, obviously liquor store and clientele, but what's going to happen at a medicinal marijuana? Someone goes in and immediately lights up right outside. Even if they do, what are they going to go to the pizza shop and then have the munchies? Like, I don't think they're going to loiter around and cause property values to go down. How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Shawn and Matt Show. My name is Matt, that is Shawn, and welcome to our show, Shawn. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about door knocking and whether agents should be door knocking in the year 2023. We're also going to be talking about cannabis and how cannabis dispensaries may affect your property values as cannabis dispensaries and laws are changing, and that seems to be on the forefront of many states' legislation as we head into Q2 of 2023. And then we're going to get into in or out, whether Shawn battles in or out on 3 houses across the United States. Shawn, let's start with a opinion article from Inman entitled "After Ralph Yarl, It's Time to Retire Door Knocking Once and for All." So there have been some devastating stories in the news recently about individuals, young people walking up to the wrong door, driving up to the wrong door, and literally being shot and killed. And this isn't a gun debate. This isn't go turn on your local news and national news if you want to get angry and upset. This is about door knocking as a whole, as real estate agents, as a way to conjure up business, because you can sign up for coaching and you can watch all the YouTube gurus on how to create your real estate business. And a lot of them will tell you to door knock and will tell you to circle prospect and, walk up to strangers' doors, walk on other people's properties. And Shawn, you're not soliciting. You are you're doing them a favor. You're just letting them know. You're not asking for a sale. You're just doing a neighborly thing and inviting them to an open house. You're not saying your house is for sale. You're just saying, hey, I'm not soliciting, I'm inviting. So Shawn, what are your thoughts on door knocking as a real estate agent in 2023?
So Matt, these are my thoughts. Does this work? Maybe it does. Does this work for me and my personality? Hell no. There's no way I'm door knocking. I have never done it. I will never do it. I don't care if it works. It's not my personality. And if somebody comes up to my door, what am I doing? I'm like, get off my porch. Like, why are you bothering me?
Wait, are you telling them that? Are you opening your door and telling them?
No, I'm not.
What happens when someone walks on your property and knocks on your door?
I'm just like, all right, what do you want this time?
So you open up the door.
Not every time. If I can get away with them, a lot of times they can see me in my house, right? Like I have a glass door, so they can see if I'm standing.
You don't have blinds?
Not on that one. No.
Get this man some blinds.
That's true. Hey, blinds are expensive, man.
But don't you have a doorbell cam?
I do.
So why do you ever open up the door for strangers when you could talk through the doorbell cam?
It's not like it happens a lot, but if I can get away with not talking or talking through the doorbell cam, I will definitely do that. But sometimes you could be out in the yard. You could be, doing something where they see you, and I'm like, oh God. So honestly, people come up, and I have to listen to their spiel. And I'm like, I don't want to be bothered right now. I'm tired. I just got home from work. I'm having very limited time with my family, whatever. I want to enjoy this. I don't want to talk about, hey, how you need environmental, money for the environment for, bottles or something like that. Use different plastics. I've been approached by that, I'm like, all right, whatever. But like, are you a real estate agent? What are you doing? What are you saying when you walk up to there? Oh, I have an open house this weekend. It's not my style. I feel like it's very cheesy for somebody to just go up and start talking to somebody and like, hey, I'm Shawn Battle and I'm a real estate agent. Hey, I live down the street from you. It's not my style. I'm never going to do it. It's just like cold calling for me. I hate when people cold call me. I screen every call. Thankfully, the iPhone is telling me that it's potentially spam and I'm not answering most of my calls. So just like you said, I won't answer the door when somebody I don't know is coming up unless, they're dressed in a suit. No.
Okay, well, let's say this. Let's say you have a really good listing in your own neighborhood, right? A neighborhood you want to take over. And let's say you're having an open house and you want to blow it out. You want to get a food truck. You want to get this. You want to get a bounce house for the kids. You want to maybe use inflated DMV for your bounce house.
There you go.
You want to do it all. Isn't it your job to invite the neighbors? Isn't it your job to know everyone in the neighborhood? How are you supposed to be able to do your job if you don't invite the neighbors?
I do invite the neighbors, and it's a better way of doing it is having your listing prepared prior to putting it on the market, getting your marketing done, and actually spending money to blanket market the neighborhood. And that's what I do. It's direct mail marketing. Yeah, some people say it's dead. It's not dead. It works very well. You spend a little bit of money and the mailman delivers it for you instead of you having to walk around and spend so much time talking to people. Now, there's a better way to infuse yourself into the neighborhood and to the area, and that is by going to social events that the area is putting on and meeting people naturally, not meeting them by, hey, Matt, I'm a real estate agent, and butting your head into it. It's like, it reminds me of The Shining, this movie from a long time ago where, the guy puts his fist to the door and it's like, here's Johnny, like
Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson, right? I don't want somebody pushing themselves in front of me. And it's like when I go to a clothing store. Can I help you find something? No, I'm here just to look, to browse. But they're annoying, and they come up to you and, oh, let me help you with this. No, let me help you with this. And typically I walk out because I'm like, I don't want to feel this tension. I just want to look at clothes, stop asking me. I feel that's the same way. There's going to be a lot of people that disagree with me because they know it works, right? But I'm not the type of person that is going to walk up and just start a conversation and say, hey, this is what I do. And I just don't see it. Do you? How do you feel about it?
Well, real estate coaches will say, you're inviting them over. You're having a party. Yeah. You are you're doing a blowout. Maybe you're even having drinks.
That's the way you do it.
Maybe you're having a party. And what's an old school way of inviting people to a party? You knock on their door and say, hey, I want to introduce myself. I'm the neighborhood expert in the neighborhood. Just want to let you know 3 doors down, I'm having a party. You and your kids should stop by.
Hey,
you're telling me that should be outlawed or that shouldn't happen?
I'm not saying it should be outlawed, but you know what? That was good in 1985. Now we got email threads. We got, You're going
to email your neighbor to come to the open house?
Of course. Wouldn't you rather do that than walk up and say, hey, my name's Shawn. I'm having no way. I will send an email. I will put a post out there. I'll do a YouTube video. I'll put it on Facebook. There's so many different avenues to invite people. There's a lot of people out there that are on all these social media. Why do I need to walk? Especially in this day and age. I mean, there's crazy. You know what? My wife and I were talking about this the other day. We like to watch these shows where, there's crazy people or like, murders or whatever, right? We enjoy it. It's like, a mindless thing. So I was thinking, and I was telling her, it was like very scary people or something like that. And I was like, it's surprising that there are not more scary people or like crazy people. There's a lot of crazy people, but there are billions and billions of people on this earth. And to the fact that there aren't more crazy people or more crazy incidents going on, there's a lot going on. But you would almost think like there should be more based on how many people there are in this world. But I'm not going to go up to that crazy person's house and have a gun pointed in my face. There's no way. And you know what? In my old neighborhood, there was this nice lady that lived across the street. And I wouldn't say nice. She was crazy. And if you didn't know, I watched people walk up to her thing and she would come out like swinging a shovel, whatever. She yelled at me one time because I was snow blowing her driveway because we had like 2 feet of snow. And she came out screaming at me. And I was like, I'm just going to do this because I know she'll die if she does it herself, But like, there's crazy people out there. And when you expose yourself like that and you put yourself right in their front door, they'll do crazy things. I just don't think it's for me. I'm not going to put myself at risk. And Matt, I don't want you to see you get hurt. Please don't go north.
Well, let me ask you this. Why are people opening the door? I think they're opening the door because they don't have a camera watching the door. Now, if they had a camera, they would just be downstairs or upstairs and say, who are you? What can I do for you? Like, when did Ring Doorbell, when did Nest, when did Arlo, when did all these cameras come about? Was that like 2016, 2015.
Yeah, probably.
They probably started like 2013, 14, and then, the better ones came out 2015, 2016. Everyone's got them.
Yeah.
Most people have them. If you have one of these cameras, there's no reason to ever answer the door, ever, period.
That's right.
And, my thoughts on door knocking is the first thing is it works, right? It works well. If you are an agent and you want business, and you don't have to walk a mile from the street to the front door, right? Like it's just a normal house that has a front door like 20 feet from the street. You will probably get business by door knocking. The thing is, how is that going to be perceived? Because my whole thing is, in my entire life, I've never once been approached. Someone came up to the front door. We had a conversation, then they left. And I never thought, wow, I really am grateful that environmentalist came to my front door and took $100 from me. Or wow, I'm really so happy that I just ordered magazines from a high school kid that may or may not ever come.
Yeah.
I've never once been pleased, and I don't sit around wishing for salespeople to come to my front door. And I don't think many other people do either.
And that's exactly it. No one wants you at their front door. So why are you crossing that threshold? And I mean, I guess it works, but how many people, like, I'm not the person that wants to anger people and like get people pissed off at me. And like, I think you probably get a worse reputation around the neighborhood by door knocking because people are going to think you're a weirdo. That's my personal opinion. I wouldn't do it because I would feel like a weirdo, so that's why I'm not doing it. Maybe it's your thing. And maybe, we have friends that can instantly connect with people, right? Like they're just very good at doing that thing. And maybe we could be better at it. And maybe we're downplaying it because we don't like to do it. But I'm not going to do it.
Well, I've heard the argument of the exact opposite. People calling you a weirdo. There's this agent in Calgary. I don't know if he's still selling or not, but he told a story one time how, he's door knocking in January, and he ran into a couple people, and they're like, if you're a real estate agent door knocking in January, this is the type of person that I want selling my house because they're a go-getter and they get after it.
Yeah, I mean, it shows work ethic, right? I guess, that's one positive thing about it, but I'm still not doing it.
Finally, there's another agent in the Atlanta area, and he got known in his neighborhood as a really hard worker. And he said he wasn't, a legitimate realtor until someone mentioned him on Nextdoor as a guy going door to door. Like that's how he knew he made it, is when the neighbors were talking about him on Nextdoor because he knocked on so many houses.
That's funny. And you know what? I'll bring up an example from mine. My flyer was on Nextdoor as well, right? They put my flyer on. I didn't have to go to a door. I just mailed it, create it. I think doing video like we do, we get a wider audience. Why not shoot a video? Why do we have to walk up to a front door? I'm not doing it, man. No way, thanks.
We can certainly go around in circles, and if there was an agent on the show that was into door knocking, they could be like, oh, well, what about this? What about this? What about this?
It works for some people. Some agents are going to do it. Some people feel comfortable doing that. Hey, if you like doing it and you're good at it, go do it. It'll work. Me, I don't think I'd be good at it. I wouldn't feel comfortable, and I just don't want to do it.
All right, let's move on to our next topic. This comes to us from the Washington Examiner. Most agents unsure how cannabis dispensaries affect property values. Shawn, this is a survey done by the National Association of Realtors in March of 2023, so pretty recently, found that 44% of real estate agents in states where recreational use has been legal since 2018 reported no change in commercial property values. This is states for where it's been legal the longest, like California, Oregon, Maine, Massachusetts, Colorado. 15% of agents said that commercial values near dispensaries declined slightly. 3% said values decreased substantially, and 3% reported values increased substantially. So a lot of people saying no change, and a couple of people saying, big changes in either direction. And the gist of this article, which, by the way, I'm going to post in the show notes and in the description below, is essentially saying we don't know, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of factors, because how can you single-handedly say that, this one business is going to have this greater effect on a jurisdiction, on a town? By the way, do you know the difference between a hamlet, a village, and a township?
No.
I don't have a follow-up to that, but I was doing some research earlier, and there's a lot of different names for towns. But getting back to the point, I'm trying to think of the businesses that would instantly bring down property values in the area? Shawn, I don't know, and I don't know if a dispensary is one of them. What are your thoughts and reactions to cannabis dispensaries, property values, and if there was a cannabis shop set up outside of your house or near your house, how that would affect a purchasing decision?
Yeah, it's a really tough one because we don't have enough data, and oddly enough, we just had one open up in Clarendon. I'm not really into the cannabis dispensary thing. I'm assuming you have to have a card and register.
What do you mean you're not
stuff.
into it?
No, I don't know everything you need to be able to get cannabis. Do you? Is it like
you have to get in the Commonwealth of Virginia? It's a medical card.
So it's medical based. So that's the thing, is it's regulated. It's medical based,
but not for the recreational states.
Okay,
so we're in a Commonwealth that requires a couple extra steps. You have to be diagnosed with insert whatever. You have to go out and get a medical card. There are some states like I mentioned earlier where you just walk right in and you get it.
Well, in that instance, I think personally, I believe that it would drop values. I don't think it's a positive for your neighborhood. I think it's a negative. It's just like liquor stores, right? Liquor stores usually, I don't know. I think they probably pull down values. Addicts then, frequent them. And then sometimes they're sitting outside of them. And then, it culminates into something else. I don't know that, like the one in Clarendon, I don't think that's going to affect anything.
There's liquor stores in Roslyn Courthouse, Ballston, Clarendon. How has that brought down values?
I'm not saying in these metropolitan areas. If you look at certain areas, liquor stores, that was the typical thought of.
Well, are you getting the same clientele? Because let me ask you, I've been to the Ballston liquor store at when did they open up? 11 a.m., 10 a.m. And I've seen
10 a.m.
No, I don't think they open up at 10 a.m. Because I looked at
they might.
Yeah, I had a closing. I had to get some separate. But point being is, I walked in there. I might have been the first. I think I was the second person in, and
they were like, Matt.
By the time I walked out, there was a gentleman who had downed 2 airplane bottles, before noon. Yeah. Like, okay, well, obviously liquor store and clientele, but what's going to happen at a medicinal marijuana? Someone goes in and immediately lights up right outside. Even if they do, what are they going to go to the pizza shop and then have the munchies? Like, I don't think they're going to loiter around and cause property values to go down.
Yeah, I think in the medical sphere that it's a lot easier and safer and not as crazy, right?
Do you know what stoners do? They go and pick up their stuff and then they go back home and then they sit in their basement
and they munch Doritos and stuff.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. I mean, hey, I'm just saying what is going to affect the value. I don't think it's positive when there's drugs next to your property. I just think it's going to bring down values, and we could say this with a lot of different things, right, Matt? Like,
well, you know what's right next to this shop in Clarendon is a gun store, and we haven't talked about that at all. And no one in Arlington has mentioned this gun store ever since it opened up. Nova Armory. They used to be on Pershing. Now they're in Clarendon.
Well, that's another thing, right? That could bring down values too. When there is a stigma to this particular thing, I think any stigma could affect your property value. A gun store, a lot of people don't want to be next to a gun store. They don't believe in guns, so there's that whole aspect of life that they don't want that. Same thing with marijuana, same thing with alcohol, same thing with all these things. Now, what I would like to talk about is what else can affect these values, right? I mean, like, there are so many things that affect property values in a positive and a negative.
Well, Arlington in Northern Virginia is such a desirable place to live, and I obviously love it here. Now, I love the Northern Virginia area as a whole, and there's, lots of shopping plazas like in Burke and in Springfield and in Fairfax Corner that are walking distance to condos, townhouses, single-family houses. But, if a business were to move into one of these shopping plazas or strip malls or whatever you want to call them, what business would have to move in where if you're a homeowner, you're going to the local meetings, you're saying, nuh-uh, this isn't going to happen. I am concerned. I want to move out. What sort of businesses are those?
A strip club?
Yes.
I don't know.
Virginia
Maybe.
would never allow that. The jurisdiction would never allow that.
Yeah. I don't think in a strip mall in that setting, I don't think
that was a good answer.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You had that ready.
But I would say that, in a strip mall setting, it's not as big of a deal. When you're like Clarendon, for one example, is like there's single family homes right here, and then there's a marijuana dispensary. So it's proximity, and Arlington, like you said, it's a great area. We're going to have a mix of everything in this area because it's a city. It's a great place to live, and thankfully we do have everything at our fingertips. If you want a gun, go get a gun. It's right down the street. If you want marijuana and you have the ability to do that, then go get it. But I don't think it's a huge devaluation of property values in those instances, right? Yeah, I mean, when you're looking out of your condo and you're looking straight into a liquor store, that might be a slight negative, right? When you're looking out your window and you're looking at a dispensary, that might be a slight negative. But there's so many other things, I think, that would affect your value way more than that, right? Like a gas station, right? Do we want to stare at a gas station out next to your house?
So I had a buddy who lived in Norfolk, Virginia, and he looked out over a gold for cash, like a pawn store.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I'm thinking the worst business is probably one that's open late. Something open outside of business hours. Something open past 5 p.m. And the first thing that comes to mind is not a cannabis dispensary, nothing that we mentioned, but similar to a cannabis dispensary, the CBD places, the kratom, where you have like the neon lights that are flashing at all hours. They're open till like 11 p.m. And you're thinking, who is buying, vaping cartridges at 10:30 p.m. in like Rappahannock, Virginia? Like, how is there a demand for that? And imagine looking out of your front lawn and you're just always seeing the light pollution of flashing lights. It's disgusting.
When you said that reminded me of Adams Morgan. Do you remember when there was this whole like thing about, Adams Morgan in DC is this big area where there's bars and it's a lot of fun, and they were pushing the hours, right? They were pushing them later and later. So bars were staying up till like whatever. And the whole area around them, the people that actually live there, like, wait a second, we don't want these bars staying up. We put up with it enough. Now these bars are staying up till 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and whatever in the morning. And we have to deal with this. And I just like, there's always going to be that that forceful, butting of heads when there's residences and then people come into that area to have fun. And one prime example was, what was the name of, in Ballston, across from Eastview, the bar there that was called Arlington? It was like...
Oh, A-Town?
A-Town. When A-Town was there, A-Town, it was packed all the time. I mean, those guys know how to get people into a bar. And it was packed and it was loud. And so the people at Eastview were starting to get mad because their balconies faced the bar and it was just rowdy. It was loud. Now they changed the name and they still do great, So it's like, I don't know. It's always a tough thing when you have residential and commercial and, certain stores want to move in. I don't know.
I think there's what I'm getting from this is there's a lot of worse businesses that could move in other than a medicinal cannabis shop. I don't know how I'd feel living next to a gun store. Like if I knew that there were 50 AR rifle guns in the wall next to me, that may make me a little uneasy. But certainly, I don't think Clarendon has seen any sort of dip in prices. And there was one more thing that I wanted to mention about this topic before moving on.
Smells?
I mean, yeah, that's something to consider as well if you're in the restaurant district, or every restaurant has rats, right? So like if you're by the dumpsters and whatnot.
I mean, that's the ups and downs of living in a city. You could get rats, you could get the smells of the neighborhood. You smell pizza every day, all day in your condo. That might happen. That's just where we live. So you've got to put up with that. Does that bring a value down? I think it could.
All right. I figured out what I was going to say. So I think, again, what I'm taking away from this is I want to be very careful about like what businesses we allow and don't allow in Arlington, Northern Virginia, the United States. Because if we get into the game of, I don't want that business here, let's not allow this business, let's not allow that business, we have to remember that Arlington specifically is experiencing abnormally high commercial vacancy rates.
Yeah.
So when we start to say, oh, I don't want that business here. But also, why is the vacancy rate 25%?
And why have our taxes just gone up?
And
more?
why are our taxes going up? Obviously, there's a dichotomy here because I don't want entire Clarendon to be filled with gun stores and shops and bud shops. But at the same time, I don't want to be Maradona and be the hand of God trying to say yes, you're allowed and no, you're not allowed.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I think why we flourish as the United States is because we allow things like that, and we allow difference of opinion and all that stuff. So I think there's got to be a difference of what's allowed in commercials and commercial buildings as well. Right now, the commercial aspect of things is really hurting, and that there were articles about somebody was saying, oh, older commercial buildings, just tear them down, just get rid of them because that's gone by the wayside, and these new ones, the new buildings are too hard to convert to residential. There's just too much work and too much money to be put into these things. So what do? You got to get people in there. And I hate to see, like, when I go and walk in through Ballston or Clarendon, I hate to see like that one restaurant, it's gone again. I hate to see vacant places when there could be such cool things there. Just bring people in, man.
Agreed. Shawn, let's move on to in or out, whether you are in or out on 3 houses across the United States. Let's go down to New Orleans. Think thin. A New Orleans skinny house boasts an equally slim price tag of $189. Shawn, this is a 1-bedroom, 1-bath skinny house in New Orleans that's 234 square feet. When I say It is slim, it is very slim. You have a mini kitchenette. Notice you don't get a full refrigerator. I don't even see a stove, so I think they may have taken the stove out at one point. You have a mattress, and it looks like a wall AC unit. Goes up about 3 floors. 1 bedroom, 1 bath, 234 square feet in New Orleans. Shawn, are you in or out on the skinny house?
Yeah, I'm buying it. I like it. You know what? Nowadays, I think we have too much stuff. We don't need all the room that we need. Let's go small. We see all the trend of small houses, small things. I like it.
Under $200,000.
Under $200,000.
Have you been to New Orleans?
I have.
What are your thoughts on New Orleans?
Oh, it's a crazy town. I mean, do I really want to live there? No. I mean, but look at that.
So I'm pulling up the street view, Shawn. There's a house that has, some boards next to it.
Yeah.
Across the street, there's a vacant lot. I am out on New Orleans. I'm in on the house. I am out on New Orleans. There's even a sign on the front door of Google Map that says "Criminals Beware."
Okay.
So I know nothing about neighborhoods in New Orleans, but I think it's 189 for a reason.
Yeah.
Now, there's also a funny picture in here towards the end. First of all, professional photos, but there's a picture of an upside-down bicycle in an AC unit. So I'm thinking, what sort of professional photographer is framing this photo? Perfect composition, perfect lighting. You can tell, by the pixels that it's a professional photo.
It really
and they're
is.
just thinking to themselves, you know what? The upside-down bicycle, let's leave that in.
And the
AC
air conditioning unit sitting
let's
on the
leave
ground?
that in.
But the sky looks great, Matt.
The sky.
They superimposed.
You think they photoshopped those clouds in?
They didn't Photoshop the bike. Matt, you have a really good point. That's why we say location, 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 right? I don't think this is in a great location. I think was the upstairs window also boarded, or was that just the neighbor that was boarded?
Could have been the neighbor.
Yeah.
Well, you're in on it, so you can't go back.
No, you can't do that. You can't sell me something without showing me the location.
Oh, that's what I did.
Yeah. See, Matt, come on.
So again, in on the house, I'm just out on New Orleans. So like I've been a real estate agent for 10 years. I don't know if that qualifies me as an expert, but if I were to just put out some advice and you can tell me I'm an idiot, I probably wouldn't buy real estate if it's under sea level. I just probably wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
I don't know if this part of New Orleans is under sea level, but just personal preference, like a tip, maybe have the sea level below your house and not above your house.
That's probably a good tip, Matt.
You think that's a good tip?
I think it's a good tip. Yeah. I mean, very smart. We've seen what happened in New Orleans. Tough place to live. Apparently, I'm buying the house. Matt's not.
All right. Well, let me know when I can come to visit. I don't know how many people we could have in that house. Next house also comes to us from Realtor.com. In the pink, Enchanting Adobe house in Phoenix quickly captivates a buyer. Shawn, this is a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath house at 529 West Encanto. Let's do Encanto.
Encanto.
Encanto. It's a 3-bed, 1.5 bath. beautiful pink Adobe, 1,800 square feet, kind of in the midtown area of Phoenix, which is apparently like a desirable place to live. I'm not doing a bait and switch on you where I pull up the street view and but here's the inside. It's about 1,800 square feet. It surprisingly, Shawn, get ready for this, has a basement, which people in Arizona don't know about. A basement's actually where you have a level below the house.
Subterranean, yeah.
Subterranean. So you have the basement workout studio. And my favorite part about the house, as we go through the 100 photos that are seemingly listed, is the outdoor area. So you have, I believe, more than 1,000 square feet of outdoor entertaining. And that photo right there sold me on it. So, Shawn, are you in or out on the pink Adobe house for $734,000?
Matt, little pink houses. This is a nice house. At first I was out just because I can't stand pink houses. Why would you ever paint your house pink? I don't understand it. But you know what? I always tell my buyers, paint is simple. Paint is easy. You can make that thing look amazing. I would be painting that thing white quickly, and I'm buying it. I think, once you showed me the interior was pretty cool. It was pretty nice. The exterior I wasn't flattered with, but the outdoor space that you showed, really nice. I'm hiring a painter day one, getting rid of the pink, and we're buying.
So I lied to you. I will show you the Google Street View where you can see that the former owner painted it blue.
Oh my God.
This is a worse color than the pink.
That's amazing.
I'm actually into the pink. When I see the pink in the Adobe, it's like refreshing. It looks like a grapefruit.
In certain areas, these colored houses, like in the Caribbean, this goes, right? This works. I don't know Phoenix all that well.
I don't think it's not the Caribbean.
This isn't the Caribbean. Wow, that blue this is turquoise, whatever. What would you call that?
Like coral?
Coral blue. Yeah. I mean, I wonder if this is the same owner and they just like, hey, this time I want to go lime green.
Could be.
Could be. They just like color.
Every 3 years, they just destroy their neighbors' hearts and minds.
Exactly.
And you know what? Let's go purple. Let's go pink. Let's go blue.
Yeah.
So
oh my gosh, this is the talk of the town, I'm sure. The pink house and the used to be the blue house.
I'm in. I mean, there's a fountain. There's an outdoor area.
It's really cool on the outside. There's a lot of good features
an
on
oven,
this.
There's a grill.
At first, I was like, no way. Now I'm in. I like it.
I'm in too.
And look at that. Was that a little fireplace there?
Yeah,
outdoor fireplace.
It just keeps getting better.
Killer, yeah.
It just keeps getting better.
I dig it.
All right, final house, fab mid-century modern home in Wisconsin, includes 1950s furniture for $1 million, Shawn. This is a 3-bed, 3-bath house in Fountain City, Wisconsin. It is listed with 2,500 square feet, lots of glass and rectangular shapes, 2-car garage. It overlooks the Mississippi River. I had to check a map to make sure that the Mississippi does indeed go. It goes pretty far north. You forget how north the Mississippi River. Props to Mississippi for like getting
taking the name. Yeah.
They were like, you know what? It ends here, so we got dibs on this. So, Shawn, are you in or out on this mid-century modern house in Fountain City, Wisconsin for $1 million?
Now, I like my mid-century moderns. This is a classic example. Beautiful home, really well done. And on top of being a cool mid-century modern feel, it also has water views, which I'm in for. I like to be close to water. Looks like a big house, really nice view. Look at that. I'm in. I'm buying this.
I am in as well, and yeah. I'm usually a mid-century modern hater, just because everyone else likes it, and I sometimes like to zig when they zag. But this has got everything that I like as well. I am a fan of the square kind of rectangular look. I'm a fan of the large windows. I'm a fan of the garage. I'm a fan of the water views. I don't think I'll go down and throw a line in like I know you will.
I would. But not only that, look at that fireplace. Really well done. Down. Yep, the other way. There you go. Really well done. The front deck. There's a huge front deck overlooking, so I'm sure you could see the Mississippi from your deck too. Just really cool. I'm buying.
And
sweet.
The furniture is included. So
even better. All the mid-century modern furniture. This is, tougher to find, or like if it's true mid-century modern, that's worth a lot of money.
I don't know what the market's like in Fountain City, Wisconsin.
Yeah, it's probably
maybe
really
$1 million is hey, on the high side.
We're buying on looks, Matt.
So were you in or out on the Phoenix house? on the
I
pink
was
Adobe.
in on the Phoenix house.
So you were in. You were 3 for 3.
Yeah.
Do you want to change your
bait
mind?
and switched on that first one.
You wanna-
I would run from that one.
Did
but
you have a contingency on the first one?
I did. I had
did?
a home inspection contingency, and I realized that there was just too many problems with it, so
Yeah.
I pulled out.
Yeah. Okay. You got cold feet. Saw the HOA docs and got cold. There's no
Yeah.
HOA docs. But.
There definitely is not.
All right. Well, would love to know your thoughts or comments or opinions. Be sure to drop them in the comment section below. And for Shawn and myself, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, we'll see you then.
Take care.